All right. We should. All right. Hello. We should be live. I'm not actually sure. Does this first 30 seconds get cut off? There's like 30 seconds of buffer between when I start talking and when it actually gets to the world. Wow. Um. So is this all included? I don't know. I don't know. If I start talking in the middle of a sentence on your end, let me know. That would be great. We are live. I don't think anybody else is here. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just talk to myself. Um, Happy Saturday, everybody. Let's close this. Um, whew. Uh, it is Saturday, and this is a question and answer about a sensitive subject, fundraising, uh, and the future of my channel. Wow, topics. Um, I have a couple questions that I prepared, but your questions take precedence, of course. But since there's nobody here, I'll just cry about that later. Since there's nobody here, I'll find somebody. I'll just go through questions that I expect to come up for the meantime. Yes, does that make sense? Hopefully, great. All right, let's just dive in. So these first two questions actually are not my own creations. They come from my good friend Shoeless Joe. He has a YouTube channel. You should check it out. He does great things on the internet, just like me. First question is, what are quips? What are personalized quips for my channel? This comes from, if you check out my YouTube channel, not my YouTube channel, my Patreon page. In the reward system is built in different amounts of quips that my patrons get. And the quips are just, if you look down here, right now it says Ptony needs a nickname. I think I'm going to call him Peter. So just like these dry remarks that I'm going to integrate into my live streams henceforth. And I've come up with a lot myself, but I want to give I want to give my patrons an opportunity, an exclusive opportunity to have their own quips worked in there. And I'll credit them with those quips. Like, it'll be whatever quip they say, plus, like, credit Shoeless Joe or credit Joseph Skywalker or something like that, right? So that's the plan. That's what a personalized quip is. Joe also asked, when I become eligible to be a YouTube partner again, because I lost that privilege when YouTube made all their changes, do I plan on monetizing again? I don't think this decision is just mine to make anymore at this point. My gut reaction is yes, I want to. But I think that this is a question that I want to open up and give my patrons an opportunity to give me feedback on. The way I see it is, yes, this is an opportunity for another source of revenue, which means that I don't have to ask for money as much, right? And I think that's a good thing, right? Money's not bad. It's just a question of how we use it. So long term, like, this is the way down the road dream. My plan, my hope is to generate revenue from whatever sources above and beyond what I need for living expenses, and begin rolling those things over into financial investments. And like, I'll get professional advice on those sorts of things, and eventually, hopefully, like, I'll be able to live off of the payout from those investments. Of course, this is like way down the line, but like, essentially retire early, but then continue making videos, and at that point, I won't need to ask for support in the same way. I can open up all those rewards to people more in general. I can I can redirect, or you know, like I could redirect fundraising to support other people that I want to support out there. Fundraising like on behalf of others. That would be kind of interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea, but one idea that I'm toying around with. So yes, like essentially right now I think that I am leaning towards monetizing again. Adblock is always a thing. I don't mind if people use Adblock. I use Adblock on most sites. Yes. All right. So those are 2 questions that I had going in. And then this is a bunch of other expected questions. I wonder if anybody's here yet. Nope, just me. That's fine. How's fundraising going so far is a question I expect someone might wonder. And the answer is a lot better than I expected. The day that I launched my Patreon, I got 2 patrons, and all I did was post on social media. That was one of the most heartwarming things. Like, money is a sensitive topic, and I in most conversations when money comes up, I like to skirt around that issue, right? But it was incredibly encouraging that, you know, people jumped in right away. That's just fantastic. And in the video that I released on Thursday, talking about how I'm starting to fundraise, I mean, it is legitimately a scary thing that I'm diving into, because asking for money is scary, of course, but also because this is going to determine where my channel goes. And I've always had full control before now, but now I don't. So seeing people jump on board that quickly, like the 2 on Sunday jumped on board before there were even real rewards on my Patreon page. So that's been great. There was also there's another Catholic YouTuber, Daniel, from That Catholic Couple. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, please do. They're great. He and his wife are full-time YouTubers now, and they're starting their own business and things like that. And he checked out my Patreon page and set up a time to talk with me, just to give me some constructive criticism on, hey, so excited you're jumping into Patreon. Also, these are some shortcomings I see in your Patreon page, and I want you to make it better. And he gave me a lot of feedback, and it was really good. It was really good. He helped me to put more of a emphasis on like rewarding my patrons and thanking my patrons on my page. Like, it's not just take. It's also, hey, thank you so much. Here are little things that I can give back. Yes. So it's all been kind of a whirlwind of a week, and I'm optimistic that it's going to go really well. Next fundraising steps. What will my next fundraising steps be? Well, among other things, I'm going to stop using the word fundraising. I think that in the professional world, we talk more about development. I don't know, for whatever reason. But like I think that my next step is, first of all, there's a person here in my hometown that's worked in development for a long time. I want to reach out to him and say, hey, can I talk to you? I'm jumping into development. Can you give me feedback? Can you give me advice? And he's a great guy. I expect he'll say yes. We'll find out. If he says no, I'll just have to hunt somewhere else. But looking for people that can help instruct me on best practices. I think that's an important next step. And then from there, there's only so much time I can put this off, and how much time is very, very little now. I'm going to start making personal asks. I'm going to go through my address book and figure out specific people I want to talk to about this, both to ask for donations directly, and also to ask them, hey, do you have connections to people that would be invested in what I'm chasing here on my channel. That's going to be scary. I haven't started that yet, and honestly, perhaps I should have. But there's definitely some people that I have in mind, and so I want to go talk to this guy who has experience in development to figure out what's important to include in those conversations and what's not, and then start having those conversations, which will be really crazy and exciting. Dun dun dun. No one's here yet. It makes me so sad. Maybe I should text some people. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I am going to do that. That'll be great. Don't mind me. This is exciting live stream content right here. Should I text people? Yeah, I want to text people. All right. Who am I going to text? Text this person and this person. This person and this person. That seems pretty. That seems like a good idea. Hey, I'm live. Smiley face. Come join me. And then there's a link. That's not the link. All right. All right. So this is an opportunity for me to multitask. We're gonna and immediately I don't multitask. That's fine. All right. But there's the link. I've copied it, and now I can paste it, and now I can send it. And there it goes. All right. What other questions? I did not eat 3 meals this morning. Good grief. I think I had a Lara bar. That's about it. And some coffee. I had a lot of coffee. What's the vision for my channel? So this live stream isn't just about money. It's also about vision, right? And those concepts go together. So what do I hope to do here? Why would people jump on board? Why am I putting this time in myself? I want to build a community of online Catholic millennials. That's the line that I go back to again and again. By online, I generally mean people that like to spend time online. By Catholic, I mean people that are on board with church teachings. And by millennials, I mean people that are born between 1980 and 2000. There are people that watch these videos that don't fit into that description, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Those are the people that I especially am trying to reach out to. And what specifically I do among this crowd, that can change as, like our demographic changes, right? But there are 3 things that I want to hone in now. The first is an idea of, like, I think that our group of people, we have a lot of interesting questions to discern that many others don't, like other generations don't have in the same way. Like it's our generation that I think was kind of blindsided with a brand new relationship with technology, and like the Generation Z or iGen or whatever we want to call the next generation, they're going to have that too in a different way. But I think, like, we went from 0 to 60 in a way, in that we're the first generation to have technology like social media in our pocket. What does that mean for us? What sorts of boundaries do we need to keep? What's a healthy way to interact with the internet when it's in our pocket all the times? Also, as Catholics, Catholic millennials, like, what's our Catholic culture going to look like? Liturgy, questions of liturgy, questions of community, those sorts of things. I think those are sorts of questions that I think that we need to discern through. And since there are connections, I mean, like, we have connections. How do I say this? We're more connected to each other than we used to be, which means we see each other's practices more than we used to, and that causes tension. That causes real tension. So I think, like, we need to learn how to talk about some of these things. What is evangelization? What place does evangelization have online? I want to talk about those sorts of things. The second thing is community. Online community is a thing now, and I think we have a lot to talk about as far as like building online Catholic community. What sorts of spaces are we going to create for ourselves? That's something that I want to not only discuss, I want to create online community here on this page, right? There's places where we can find online Catholic communities, and we're like figuring out what are good things to do in those sorts of spaces and what are not. Catholic Twitter is where I, experience a lot of that. But I, like especially on my channel, one dimension that I want to emphasize is an idea of like, hey, sometimes it's good to just hang out. So for example, the Game of Favorites is very much created for that end of, hey, let's just have fun in a safe Catholic space, right? Where a lot of us can get together, more people can get together than ever before, and we don't need to beat ourselves up about, oh my gosh, the world is gonna go to hell in a handbasket. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Right now, hey, it's good to enjoy life too, and rejoice in how we are people of the resurrection. Although that's not exactly what we're reflecting on today, since we're just heading into Holy Week, but that is an important theme in the Christian life, and the Game of Favorites reflects that. Final thing is, I think the final need that I see in the community of online Catholic millennials is we need to learn how to talk to people that we disagree with. That's not just us. I think most people in the world suck at this. Honestly, just suck at talking to people that we disagree with, myself included. I want our community to be at the forefront of learning how to talk to people that we disagree with. I want to learn how to be able to approach somebody that really sucks at talking to people that they disagree with and have a real conversation with them. Like go into, be able to even talk in hostile situations, like defusing the issue and having a productive conversation. My deer videos are I expect to take in that direction. So far they've been a little bit more tame, just talking to people about more whimsical, well, not necessarily whimsical, but safer topics. I want to be able to reach out to people that I more and more don't necessarily agree with, but still have enough respect for that I would want to have a real conversation. Dear Shoeless Joe, my last Deer video, that was easy because like I'm on the same page with him on most things. But like, am I always going to just talk to channels that I have a lot of common ground with? I don't know. I'm not sure. So that's my vision. Dun 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 dun. All right. I'm running out of questions. That's fine. What do I do if I run out of questions? I stall? I hope that other people are... there are people here. Hey, hello, people. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Let me know if you have any questions. Just put it up in the chat box, and I should see it right away. Happy Saturday. This is like Saturday morning cartoons, except not. All right, that was clever. All right, great. Another question that I expect people to have. These are, I don't know if anybody actually has these questions, but these are the sorts of questions that I would ask myself if I weren't myself. Like if I were in the other person's shoes, these are questions I'd wonder. What are the Patreon rewards, and what's your plan for the future of that? Currently, the Patreon rewards are well, so they have a lot to do with these quips that I mentioned earlier. Patrons get an opportunity to add in their own quips into my live stream. These little things that are this right here. Like right now it says, this channel is fake news. Oh. I wrote that. Great. So patrons get to create their own versions of that. And I'll credit them with that. different tiers get to make more, and eventually at a certain tier you get to add illustrations into those. Also, at a certain tier, patrons start getting opportunities to play on the Game of Favorites. I would love to have an honorary patron slot. Like, one of the contestants is always one of my patrons. I think that would be cool. Like, of course, nobody's obliged to be a contestant if they're one of my patrons, but I'm going to give my patrons a certain preference as far as getting them onto my Game of Favorites. Let's see what I also expect that, I mean, like, the most fundamental reason that how do I phrase this? Like what I talked about in my video on Thursday, the idea of I'm hoping that people are going to see the vision that I'm chasing here and want to support me in that and want to see this vision happen and be willing to invest money into it. And if that's the case, then I expect that a lot of my patrons are really going to want to know where my channel is headed, what successes I've had, fruits of the channel, plans for growth. Is that basically the same thing that I just said a breath ago? Yeah, I think so. Also, chances for feedback and things like that, like the insider behind the scenes scoop. That's something that I very much want to put on my channel, on my Patreon page. Those are the most fundamental rewards right now. There's also like exclusive live streams that I'll have with them once a month. And going forward, like, I'm new to this, so any feedback about like, I very much wonder what do you want to see in the reward section? What are things that you would appreciate? And if I can accommodate those things, I want to accommodate those things. Okay. I think those are most of the questions. Yeah, those are... I have two more questions that are a little more off topic that I thought might come up, even if nobody joins me. But some people join me today, so thank you for that. That's great. That's lovely. I appreciate you so much. So, I hope that all makes sense so far. Anybody have any questions? Oh yeah, there's a 30-second delay. So if I were to like wait for an answer, I'd have to wait 30 seconds before I could even start the actual waiting for an answer part. This live streaming thing. I hope the audio levels are okay. Give me some feedback on that. If the audio levels sound good, let me know. If they need adjusting, let me know. Because for me, it's just a slider. All right. Interrupt me if you have any questions. Upcoming plans. What are upcoming plans that I am going to put into my channel? Like, this is more like practical than the vision question that I brought up earlier. So I have a list. Dun dun dun. And it has different categories. First category is the Game of Favorites. Game of Favorites. What changes am I going to make on the Game of Favorites? Well, first thing is I'm getting a better internet connection. I'm super excited. I worked through the university and got a room on campus where I can plug into an Ethernet port. I had to jump through some hoops, but it all paid off, and now I have 600 megabytes a second upload and download, which is, I mean, if you've looked at internet numbers before, that's really high. I was not expecting to get that great of a connection, so I'm really stoked about that. The audio and video quality should be a lot better next time. This stream that I'm just doing at home, so there might be a little bit more in terms of blips and such. Hopefully not, but you know, it's definitely a possibility. Yeah. My YouTube page says that the health of the stream is good right now, so that's a good sign. I plan on adding these quips that you see right here. I'm going to find a way to integrate those into the layout of the Game of Favorites I want those to kind of be a staple of all of my live streams. And so I want to add in to the game of favorites more of an opportunity to like get to know the people that I have on as contestants, like little interview snippets. Nothing that'll like slow down the game egregiously. I'm trying to find like what are different opportunities where they're not brainstorming responses. I'm not working on anything. Like if we're all just kind of stalling anyways, that might be a great opportunity just to pull out some different get to know you type questions, so that I can introduce these lovely people that I have on my channel to all of you, and you can get to know them on more of a personal level, and that like builds community and things, right? That's the hope. All right, so those are some practical things that I hope to happen, that I'm going to integrate into my game of favorites. For my channel, in general, there's some cosmetics. I got some feedback from this guy named Joe, different Joe than Shoeless Joe, and so I need to implement those things. Like my channel banner needs to have a little, if it has a little more information on it. Like generally speaking, if someone's visiting my channel page, then they're checking me out. They want to know, hey, is this guy somebody I want to subscribe to or not? So using that space so that people can at a glance know what I'm about. That's something I need to improve on, right? Like I have all of these crazy dreams that are nuanced and very involved, and vision for my channel, but how can I communicate that succinctly, in little ways? Also, I'm going to be experimenting with thumbnails and titles of my videos in the future. This also comes from Joe. He was telling me, look, so this is your thumbnails and titles. Ooh, I like this song. Should be a tease. They need to get people to click, right? Like, I want to generate interest in the person. So does that sound like clickbait? Yeah, it kind of sounds like clickbait, but it's a tease, right? Like a trailer for a movie. It teases us. We want to know what happens. It put some questions in our mind so that we want to watch it. And the only way we can find answers to those questions is if we watch it. The flip side of that is it's really important that if I put those questions in people's minds, I need to deliver. I'm committed to always making sure that I am happy with the content of all my videos. Like I don't want to waste people's time. That's not what I'm here for. So I'm going to be experimenting with that. Like I don't want to deliver the message of my entire video just in the thumbnail and the title, because then why would they watch my videos, right? So that's something I'm going to be figuring out. You might notice some nuanced changes in that. A little bit more vague, a little bit more teasy. But see, like I also want to be honest about like, hey, this video is about such and such, so that you know when you're clicking on it what I'm going to talk about, right? Yes. So that's a whole can of worms that I'm just opening for myself, and we'll work on it together, right? It'll be a great time. Also, deer videos. I'm always looking for good videos to respond to, especially of other channels that I appreciate and that I want to grow personally, right? Or that I or that are much bigger than me, and I want to plug into their audience because I like what they're doing on YouTube, and so I expect I'll like their audience. Those sorts of opportunities I want to become a little more courageous about. I always feel a little nervous when I address some specific person in the YouTube world, and that's probably because I'm by nature very shy. But like I've worked, most people are surprised when I say that. But by nature, I am really shy and socially awkward, and so one of the things that I've chased in my life is learning how to socialize, and I've more or less been able to fake it. Upcoming plans in the world of live streaming, that just continues to be a place of experimenting. You can find me on Ptony Experiments. That's my side channel where I do more experimental stuff. I'm currently live streaming a game called Shadowrun Returns sporadically. I don't have a set schedule for that. I also am on Twitch once a week on Sundays at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Pacific. And you're more than welcome to check that out. Right now I'm achievement hunting in Borderlands 2. I'm not an excellent gamer. I enjoy video games, but I'm not an excellent gamer. But like the point of the live streaming experience is to learn better how to live stream, right? Like, because especially on the Game of Favorites, if I'm interacting with a live audience, I just want to get better at that so that I can, provide a better experience for all of you. Like, interact with the live chat more when there is one. Also, a lot of people, like, when they're watching a stream, don't necessarily want to participate in the live chat. I usually am pretty hesitant to actually say anything in the live chat. But I still expect the person who's streaming to keep me entertained, or else I'm clicking away. So, like, that's just the way it is, and so I want to learn how to interact with those sorts of things better. But that's all, like, experimental stuff. And then I talked to you already about my plans for development. How long have I been talking? I've been talking for 30 minutes. Wow. All right. All right. I was really hoping for more questions from a live audience, but that's okay. That's okay. It's Joseph. Hello, Joseph. Hi. Welcome. It's good to see you. Do you have any questions, Joseph? You get to dominate the live chat. It is all yours. All right. I have 2 more questions that I expected. Oh no, you're fine. Don't worry about being late. I have 2 more questions that I brainstormed up. And I'll dive into those. But Joseph, if you have a question, just type it up, and I'll interrupt myself because your question is more important than my speculations, if you will. I just wanted to share, like, some experimental ideas. Like, Ptony, do you have any experimental ideas of things you want to try out on your channel? And yeah, like, I'm always brainstorming new things that I want to try to improve. One thing that I really would love to do, I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I might do an experimental live stream on my other channel. I created this thing called Ptony Bard once upon a time. Bard, B-A-R-D, like what Homer was, like I like short stories. I like writing. I like creative writing. And I also like public reading. So I'm thinking about trying to find different ways to integrate, like, short stories and that sort of thing into a channel. I've made a couple of videos. You can look up Ptony Bard and see what I have. And there's, I think, 2 videos up there where I'm narrating, and then there's a time lapse of somebody drawing. And it kind of works, but also, like, the time lapse of somebody drawing is really, really fast and kind of frantic, and my narration voice tends to be a little bit more melodious and soothing. So there's a disconnect. So I'm trying to experiment. I'm trying to ponder, like, what can I do? What sorts of visuals can I provide that'll be more harmonious if I were to do more of, like, a Bard type video. One idea is I'm thinking about doing a live stream of whatever writing I'm reading. I think that could be fun, and it would be really easy to set up. And then I can interact with the live chat and all that. Have music playing in the background, very similar to this. But we'll see. That's not very high on my priority list, but, like, I would love to try that one of these days. I have a chapter book that I've been working on literally since grade school. And I have the first 3 chapters done, but also a whole outline, and I've rebooted it, like, so many times. This time I'm not rebooting it. I have 3 chapters that I'm happy with and that fit into the outline, and I just, like, once there's a demand for it, I'm sure that I'll give it more time in my life, right? But I might, for example, read one of those chapters on that live stream, chapter 1, and then if there's a really good response, I could do chapter 2, and if there's a really good response, I can do chapter 3, and if there's a really good response, well, I'll have to write chapter 4. So that could be fun. Also, I want to include comments. I'm thinking about including comments in like the end card screen of my channel, just to highlight. Like, I really want to build more of a sense of community, more opportunities for you to know well, more opportunities for me to see you, for anybody that wants me to see them. I want to create more and more opportunities for that, and for us all, not only to interact with me, but to interact with each other. So I'm wondering, like, you know how YouTubers will sometimes put the comments up on screen and say, oh, this and this and this, thanks for your comment, yada, yada, yada. Making those very visible, giving people shout outs, those sorts of things. I'm thinking of starting to experiment with that. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that could be fun. And a place that I'm thinking about putting that is that end card. Yeah. All right. I have one last question that I prepared for myself. The problem with practicing talking to live streams is that, like, one of the skills that they say you're supposed to have is be able to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And that's great. But I've noticed that, like, in my face-to-face conversations with actual people, I tend to leave less and less space for the other person to talk because I'm training myself. Oh, avocado. That's one of my favorite quips. Because I'm training myself to to fill in all of those spaces. But you know, so I'll have to learn how to switch gears when I'm on the internet and when I'm talking to, you know, people face to face. A timeline for all of these things. Most of these things are going to be implemented pretty fast. Of course, the Game of Favorites things are going to be implemented by the next live stream, which will be April 21st, which is a Saturday. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited. If any of you know Ali Marie Ingram, she's got a great YouTube channel, and all of her fans she calls the alligators. So she's going to be one of the contestants. I'm really excited for that. And oh, Joseph, actually, who's in the live chat right now, hello Joseph, is also going to be a contestant. It's going to be great. And 2 more. So I'm pretty excited for that. And that's when those things will be implemented. A lot of these other things, this next week I have like 3 exams to do, and also it's Holy Week. So I probably won't work on the extra credit assignments of my YouTube channel that much, because, you know, priorities. Like, I can't pull away from my other responsibilities in life, and certainly not Jesus. But I think a lot of these things I'm going to be able to implement pretty quickly after that. You know, like, especially because I generally, like, I'll come up with big goals that are far-reaching and then find the small steps to get there, and focus on those small steps that are leading to those big goals. The goals are motivating, and the small steps are easier to swallow. Yeah. So that's that. That's, I think, all that I prepared. Yeah. All right. This quip right here, do you know Murphy's Law? Yes. Do you know coleslaw, cabbage? That's come up like 6 times. It's supposed to be random. That's so interesting. All right. Special shout out. There's a guy, I have a classmate named Clayton, and he showed that to me, and I didn't really like it at the time. But then I made it into a quip. So maybe I'm just an egoist, and I feel like I need to be the one telling the joke, or I won't laugh. Yeah, I have things to work through. All right. I think that's about all I've got. Um, I'll give this like another couple of minutes in case anybody has questions or wants to talk about anything. Um, yeah, and hopefully all of this made sense. Joseph, I know you came late, and a lot of people, if you're watching this at this point, you're probably going to be watching this in as a rerun. But hopefully it all made sense. Am I a clear communicator? This is the question. And I think maybe I am. I try to be. All right. We'll give it to the end of this song. I plan on, oh yeah, that's another thing I plan on doing. So this is kind of like my country and folk playlist. I want to create like more of a piano-centered playlist, like different background music playlists. If anybody does instrumentals, let me know. Because I would love to look into featuring your music on my YouTube channel. I mean, like, using somebody's music that I personally know sounds so much more attractive than using a bunch of random music that I find on the YouTube creator space. They have a lot of great music there, and it's a useful resource. But I think that would be better. All right. Well, that's the end of the song. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm always here for you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me in many different ways. The comment box, also contact ptony@gmail.com. And this is great. I really like this live streaming thing. And we'll continue. Let me know what you think of the live chat box. I found a way to reformat it, and I think it looks a lot better. I think I saw this clip before. All right. That's all I got. God bless and ciao.